I'm Dion McElrath, and welcome to the Night Run, and I was chosen 74th in the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody sweepstakes. However, I did not win the grand prize, so I settled for a talk show instead. However, I do want to thank you so much for being here. It means a lot. It's been a roller coaster, gotta tell you. From the time I announced I was doing this show up until now, there were so many things. We went from, we got this, it's in the bag, to what the hell am I doing? What did I get myself into? However, I will say, despite the nail biting and stress, the end result was so much worth it. Doing this show is a childhood dream come true for me. Yes, I was the weirdo growing up. While all the other kids wanted to be the next big thing in the NFL and the NBA, I wanted to be the next big thing in late night television. As long as I can remember, I've stayed up well past my bedtime, please don't tell my mother, watching The Late Show with David Letterman. However, I was never just satisfied with that, so I decided to push my luck even further and flip to NBC to watch Late Night with Conan O'Brien religiously. If you're watching, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do about it now, I moved out. I only waited to tell you this because I can't get grounded anymore, so I feel like I've done a good thing. You're welcome, better late than never. 22 years old, I'm 6'3", living the dream. I come from two of the greatest parents an individual could ever ask for, seriously. I have great family support, my sisters. I come from a family of 5. I'm the middle child, so I never got anything to myself. I was also never allowed to do anything. Kidding, love my family. You're scrolling too fast, dear. If you're watching, Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. I only waited to tell you this now because I can't get grounded anymore. Better late than never, right? So here I am, 22 years old, 6'3", living the dream. I come from two of the greatest parents an individual could possibly ask for, and I'm the middle child of 5. My sisters are amazing and have screamed support for me throughout the new chapter in my life, this amazing, tumultuous chapter. Janae, Chelsea, Cheyenne, and Cameron, thank you guys so much for your unconditional love and support. I cannot thank you enough. My sisters and parents are my rock. I can't put a price tag on a solid family built on solidarity and love. Unfortunately, my late grandfather, Lewis, who was a big influence on me, by the way, he's not here to celebrate and bask in this glory that I've cast upon you all, but I'm sure he's cracking the biggest grin up there and I'm making him proud, so I'm satisfied with that. I promise you, won't let you guys down. I'm also a father of a 1-year-old daughter named Nova, so if you're watching out there, yes, Dad as on TV, he loves you. I'm not gonna try and screw this up. I don't wanna go back to my day job. Then there's my village of friends I've known all my life and colleagues who I've spent the last 3 years of my life with. Were single-handedly over the moon about me doing this show. Honestly, they were more excited than I was. I don't know where they do that at. But you guys rock. The moment whenever things take off and get better, you will definitely be in my studio audience, I promise. To the teachers I've had over the years, including the woman who unfortunately had Dallas, my executive producer and announcer, and myself, that we've called so many gray hairs, I'm so sorry. She's wonderful, caring for her. She's been doing this for longer than we've both been alive, but long as you guys know, she's 25. But she's had it, I've had it. She moved me to the front of the desk. 4th period, I still want answers. We will get those answers tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Also, another huge shout out to my now retired 1st grade teacher, Debbie Neal. When I tell you that woman should have been Time Magazine's Person of the Year at least once, I mean that in every possible way. She is a remarkable woman that I was blessed to have in my life for that year, and she has made a profound impact on my life to this day. I know there isn't enough money to really repay you for what I've done because I was a stressful kid. Trust me, I know. But thank you for the countless talks you've had with me, the dedication you poured into me to ensure that I became the man I am today, the wisdom you've given me. I know I was not the perfect student by any means. Trust me, my teachers have aired me out over the years. I'm not perfect. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Debbie. Thank you for everything. Also, I want to thank my executive producer and my brother, Dallas Gunter. He's been here since the beginning. He's the brother from another mother. He's been my #1 cheerleader in this whole endeavor. When I decided I wanted to do this in the middle of the night at 4 a.m., and I should have been in bed. But he jumped at the opportunity to help me make my dream come true, and you cannot ask for a greater friend than that. You really can't. I'm truly blessed for him. I also want to thank Jake Selway for his help in the beginning, rolling out our initial promo. He's amazing. He's done so much for us. I thank you very much, and I appreciate it. So tonight, we have 2 of my former educators, which are going to air me out on national television, from my former alma mater, Northridge High. We have Mr. Timothy Broughton here and Miss Karen Farr. Also over here, I have the best band in Dayton, JAMR here with me. It's not up for debate at all. Fellas, play me over to my desk. We'll get started with the top 20 cities with the worst drivers. gentlemen. Good water. So right here I have the list of the top 20 cities with the worst drivers. Some of these answers will probably surprise you, and Dayton's not on there. So we have something to celebrate about, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get started here with number 20 with the population of 595,351, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, home of Schlitz malt liquor, so that explains a lot. Number 19, Indianapolis, Indiana, with a population of 863 and 2. Number 18, Buffalo, New York, with a population of 258, 612. Number 17, Apopka, Florida, with a population of 51, 564. Number 16, Denton, Texas, with a population of 136, 268. Number 15, Boston, Mass, with a population of 685, 904. That explains a lot. Massachusetts, they have the right to be angry. I mean, I would be mad if I lived in a state that looked like that anyway. Number 14, Pasadena, California, with a population of 72,447. Number 12, Loganville, Georgia, with a population of 12,062. Number 11, Portland, Oregon, with the population of 647,805, which is why they love public transit so much, because nobody wants to die. Number 10, which is a no shocker to me because I've been there, I've driven down there. They are terrible at driving. It's up for debate. Cincinnati, Ohio. Come on, guys. Jesus. Number 9, I didn't know people lived in this town. Boise, Idaho, with a population of 226,570. Who the hell lives there? Who lives there? Number 7, Norfolk, Virginia. I believe it. They can't drive. They have nothing to fear but fear itself. At a population of 244,703. Littleton, Colorado, wherever that is at 47,734. Number 5, West Jordan, Utah, 113,905. Number 4, Spokane, Washington, 217,108. Number 3, Omaha, Nebraska. What? Why? Just why? 466,893. I didn't even know people lived out there, but like Farmer John and the dairy cow. Number 2, the smallest state in the union, just about Dover, Delaware, with a population of 37,538. The reason why they can't drive is because they're all on top of each other. And our number 1 city with the worst drivers is Greer, South Carolina, with 30,899. Go figure. If Lindsey Graham was my senator, I wouldn't know how to drive either. Now that we got that out of the way, can we make that text on the teleprompter bigger? Because I cannot see it.
Oh, so now it's too small.
Yeah, no, or did you forget to scroll down? Okay, we'll edit that part out. Wait, go back up just a little bit. Go back up a little bit. Because I already know the script by heart, but I'm not going to use all of it. So we're just going to go ahead and disregard that. Up at my desk. We didn't go to commercial break. All right. So, yeah, commercial break. So when we come back, we'll have a segment called Show and Tell when I'll show off some amazing stuff that's very expensive that costs more than my life itself. I have 8x10 shots of all the famous late night hosts from over the 70, 80 decades, all that good stuff. So you stay put. We'll be right back, gentlemen.
Ariel Winter. If you're like me, your pets are family. So when disaster strikes, you want to keep them safe. American Humane has tips to help protect our best friends in their worst times. So please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Segment I call Show and Tell. Most of these are actually autographed 8x10s from various late night hosts over the past 7 or 8 decades. I just still don't know how I can afford this, honestly. There's probably a month's worth of rent here. So we'll get started with Jack Parr. Jack Parr was actually on the CBS Morning Show, I believe, in '57, before he got the Tonight Show from 1959 after Steve Allen left until 1962. I believe the dispute over why he left, I think him and the executive producer, if I want to think right, they got into it or somehow he just walked off the set. So, mood. So that's Steve. No, that's Jack Parr. Why did I say Steve? Here's a guy that most people didn't know even dabbled in the late night talk show circuit. I about lost my stuff there. Pat Sajak actually had a show on CBS from January of 1989 to, I believe, June of 1990. It was called The Pat Sajak Show. Honestly, I think he would have done great if he would have stayed. However, by the time his show was over, after a year and a half, David Letterman said he was leaving NBC because he got stiff for The Tonight Show. We'll get into that later. So he went with the safer gig. He went back to Wheel, and he's still there to this day, currently the longest-serving game show host in American history. So that is Pat Sajak with his awkward humor, but I love the man. This is the GOAT, the greatest thing that ever happened to me, David Letterman. David Letterman actually started his career as a weatherman in Indianapolis, which is his hometown. Before that, well, after that, he appeared on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, I believe, in 78, 79. After that, it took off from there. NBC hired him, gave him a daytime show. I don't know why he did that because it did not work out for him. He eventually, they created the late night franchise, well, with David Letterman on NBC in 1981. So he held that down from 81 to 93, so about 12, 13 years, give or take. This man here is very important to what we see on TV today because he's like my generation's version of Johnny Carson, because I was born after Johnny was long gone, and when Johnny retired, you never saw him again. He very rarely got back into the spotlight. Johnny Carson was a very shy man, believe it or not. So David Letterman, he was that cutting edge. He was the next big thing. He was the man on the mountain. David Letterman left NBC in 1993 after one of his friends and colleagues from the stand-up circuit, Jay Leno, who was also a guest host for Johnny Carson. Somehow, some kind of way, I'm still pissed about it to this day, even though I wasn't even alive to be mad about it. Basically, this man should have gotten The Tonight Show. It's not up for debate. Dave should have got it. Somehow, some kind of way, Cadillac Jaw weaseled his way in there, and he got The Tonight Show. So David said, I've had it. We're going to CBS, and that's how The Late Show with David Letterman got started over there. His success on the late night with David Letterman was Conan O'Brien, who was another game changer. We'll get into that in a minute, too, in 1993. So that be Dave. Speak of the devil. Jay Cadillac Jaw Leno. He had The Tonight Show from May of 1992 to, I believe, June of 2009. I have so many emotions about this, but we don't have that kind of time. So to cut it short, this is the man who got The Tonight Show from this guy. We'll get into that later. There's a whole book about it called The Night Shift by Bill Carter. Highly suggest you read it. It's not for AR points, so I promise you you'll enjoy it. Jay Leno somehow got The Tonight Show from 92 to 2009. In 2004, he announced that Conan O'Brien would be taking his spot, so I'm super geeked about that because I love Conan O'Brien. And long story short, basically Jay Leno got a primetime slot. It didn't work out, and he weaseled his way back into The Tonight Show. So they wanted to push The Tonight Show back to 12:01, which would technically alter it and call it The Tomorrow Show. That messes with history, and if it's one thing we know from Jurassic Park, we don't mess with history. So basically, Conan O'Brien said, I've had it, I'm going to TBS, and now he's doing his thing over there, and we'll get into that later. So this man has had The Tonight Show for 22 years. Shouldn't have had it that long. He had no reason to come back, but that's just my opinion. To each their own. This is the late night TV god. This is NBC Jesus. Johnny Carson himself. Greatest thing that ever happened to late night television. Unfortunately, I was not alive to see him in his prime. He had The Tonight Show. Currently, still is the longest standing host of The Tonight Show from 1962, October 2nd to 1992 of May. So 30 years with his sidekick, Ed McMahon, and Doc Severinsen in the CBS Orchestra. Why did I say CBS when he works for NBC? I don't know. But this man basically changed the game and made The Tonight Show, what we see today, what it is. He basically, all this show is a template of his. It's just on public access television, and we don't have millions of dollars. So that's Johnny Carson. This is the current host of The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon. A lot of people know him. He's definitely a game changer. A lot of people don't like him. I like the man. He's not my favorite, but I like the man. He got his start on SNL before he started dabbling in movies and whatnot. Eventually, he worked his way and became Conan O'Brien's replacement when he moved to Burbank for The Tonight Show. So he got the Late Night with Jimmy Fallon franchise. Then after that, once that whole debacle with Leno and O'Brien went down, and Leno retired for the second time, for good, hopefully, unless he comes back and takes my job. He got The Tonight Show in 2014. His contract is up in 2021, so if y'all got connects at NBC, let me know. because I will lino him out of his job and I'll be set, and I'll just sit down for like 10 years. And my last one is the current long-standing host of late night television, my dude, Conan O'Brien. He and I have a lot in common because nobody really gave this man a chance, and everyone said, oh, you're not gonna do it, you better be good, you better be better than Letterman. Me personally, I think he took his own flavor with the whole late night thing and just took off with it. Conan O'Brien, he's known for that, what do they call it, a pompadour, whatever it is. But he had the Late Night with Conan O'Brien show for 16 years, which is he's currently the longest person to hold that position. He moved to Burbank for the Tonight Show in 2009. He had it for 7 dismal months, which is, I think he was cheated. He really was. If Letterman would have got it, this would have never happened. After that whole debacle in NBC, he had that fallout. He was off the air for 7 months or so, and he went on a comedy tour, if you will, before finally moving to Hollywood and going to TBS with his self-titled show, Conan, which is currently, I believe, in its 10th or 11th season, something like that. Somebody fact check that later. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Everything over here costs more than everything on my body right now. It really does. So when we come back, we'll have Timothy Father B. Broughton here. He'll air me out in front of national television, and it'll be great. So stay put, order some DoorDash, and we'll be right back. That's when you guys do this thing. There you go.
Han tomado por asalto las playas y liberado países. Protegido a los débiles y vencido a los fuertes. Mostrando su valentía y compasión. Han izado nuestra bandera y nuestras esperanzas. Por generaciones han asegurado que tengamos un país al que servir. Ellos son los Marines.
All right, so my first guest tonight, great man, has done many, many things. He was one of my educators, one of many. There's not enough words in the dictionary or a thesaurus to describe how amazing this person is. He's a great guy, very sarcastic. I love him dearly. Please put your hands together for Father B. Timothy Broughton. All right, welcome to my little traveling flea circus.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, it's an honor to have you here.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your words.
I'm a very nice guy. I don't care what Miss Forrest says anyway. I'm a very nice child. So obviously being an educator in this age, it's completely caught you off guard and changed the game. So what are your thoughts on that? What's your thought process? How has things changed for you?
Well, I could easily say for me and my colleagues that in this day and age of everything going on, I don't think you could prepare enough for it. I mean, to be an educator, you look forward to being in front of your kids, being with your colleagues, and now it's just all online. And I mean, I had taken classes in college when I was back in the day going through what I did at Wright State. And I took some online classes, and I didn't really enjoy them because there wasn't really that much
That
personal
face-to-face
engagement,
interaction,
you know. And I feel for my kids, I feel for my colleagues, because this is just not normal. And on top of that, with how much we are on call as a teacher now, I've been in for almost 10 years, and I don't think I've ever worked as hard as I have, just because I constantly have to be in touch with my kids, their parents, being online, trying to balance everything out with lesson planning, you name it. I mean, it's pretty stressful right now.
Honestly, I thought you guys just knew what you were doing and there was nothing really documented. You just go for the longest time. And you made it look so orchestrated, so I never questioned anything. I just go with it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely I mean, if you're not cut out for doing stuff on your feet and having to think immediately, it's probably not the best career for you. So it's still nice though. I wouldn't change anything for the world, and I mean it's been great. So
They don't cut them like you anymore, so you are definitely a diamond in the rough these days with changing times, and they're constantly slashing budgets and all that good stuff. So why did you become an educator? What drove you to this point to where you are now?
Honestly, my mother has been a influence on that for a long time. She was a professor for probably 25 years. My father tried to get started in education, and unfortunately left because he wanted to provide for the family, but easily my 9th grade teacher, Mr. Steve Wiedock, who unfortunately is no longer with us. He lost his battle of cancer not too long ago. But he called me out one day in class, kind of like I did you. And
Here we go.
yeah. But he called me out, and you know, it's important to have in your life somebody who can call you on stuff you know you're good at, but you just don't want to try.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah. But I went off to college, and it was just, from there on out, I was like, I really want to do this. And around my age, unfortunately, we ran into the big recession of 2008, and we had to make decisions to try to get on our feet. And I was not doing the greatest in the career world at that time because there was just literally nothing out there. So I went to grad school and started going through to be a teacher. So, and here I am.
Here you are.
So yeah, it's been a rocky road, but I mean, that's just part of growing up. I mean, you can't quit. Nobody can quit. You really got to push, and that's what it's worth. So, yeah.
Am I off the hook for the carbon copy thing yet?
I guess you could say that.
All right.
I mean, this will cover for it, but
All right.
I caught you trying to copy my notes with carbon copy, and I could have lit you up so many different ways from the part. This was either from when I was born in 1984 and you were still trying to use stuff from that time, or the fact that you still tried to weasel your way out of it, and I caught you, and I just aired you out in front of the class, and I think that was probably the most fun part, especially with what your class threw me in. And I was pretty new at the school at that time. I was only like 2 years in at that point, and you guys ran me through the gauntlet. But
Yeah, they're horrible. Yes, I'm throwing everyone under the bus. I said what I said. Look, I need points for creativity. That was creative. It was stupid.
I'll give you that.
But I was
I'll give you
desperate
that.
times call for desperate measures. It's either we take the L, and I don't know the word loss, or we try something new, and either I'm going to get ripped in front of the class, or he's going to give me half credit. I eventually got half credit. I didn't get ripped in front of the class anyway, so I say I broke even on it.
I would think you were having difficulty speaking a lot of the time with that year, because the amount of L's you took was just L on repeat.
Like, you know that cursive L on the Lysol bottle when it's yeah, that L. Buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm like, you know what? Selling pit bull puppies sound mighty nice right about now. But having you as a teacher was interesting. It was very interesting, because even though I'm a student, you know, when you go through life and you've been in school for that long, I should put that on my resume. I've done the same job for 12 years. You get no two teachers I've had are exactly alike, and I've been in that Northridge local school district, the best school district in Montgomery County, if you ask me. But I've been in that same school district all my life, and you were the first new teacher I've ever seen at that district.
Oh, wow.
Now, hear me out. I've been in Northridge for a long time. I'm 22. My whole family went to Northridge.
Mm-hmm.
There's some teachers, and I think Miss Ford may have had my older sister. Our teachers don't go anywhere, because that's how you know we have such a strong, maybe a pyramid, if that's what you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
The teachers love their job so much they stay, and you get teachers retiring at 30 years, 35, 40 years, because they love what they do. And when you have a teacher that's had your siblings before you, it kind of sucks, because you really can't get away with anything anymore.
I don't know what I would have done if I would have had your siblings before you.
I'm gonna tell you right now, they don't act nothing like. Everyone loved my sister Chelsea. Oh, she was the basketball star, and I was the only boy, so I was the oddball out to begin with. It's whatever.
So would have you called yourself a problem child?
Don't throw me under the bus like that. I would say I'm a handful. At times, I'm highly intelligent. I just do stupid things. I've done stupid things over the years. I about died inside admitting that. One day you'll get probably the most brilliant student you've ever met out of me, and other days I will test whether or not you still want this job.
Yeah, I definitely could agree with that.
Because I wasn't your run-of-the-mill teenager. I was smart, and you're so used to them doing dumb things and not thinking so fast on their feet. So when you get someone like me, you want to push them, and I wasn't used to that. Because back in the day, I'm like, why is she making me do all this? There's so much writing, like, sweetie, I want better. Miss Ford, this is better. No, it's not good enough, sweetheart. You're going to go ahead and try that again. You have until Friday.
Besides pulling that, and I'm kind of glad I could do this right now, you were definitely not one of the typical students I've had go through my room, obviously being intelligent, but when I first saw you walking around in the hallway, you looked like a traveling vacuum salesman from the 1940s with your vest and tie that you walk through. And
I was sharp enough to
I
get a paper
almost
cut.
went through and asked if you wanted to sell me a Dyson, but I stopped. I didn't want to do that.
You bold. Yeah, I always was a very nice, put-together person.
But hey, we had at least days where we went back and forth with
we
each
just
other.
destroy each other for an hour. Honestly, if the Board of Education saw this, I'm so glad I'm out of school now, because we could not get away with that nowadays.
Well, at least we had like days where we looked at each other. Okay, I like your tie, or I like your pants, or I like your shoes, or whatever, and we kept
constantly
up.
kept, you know.
Yeah.
Because I come in, you're like, well, hell, wow. Maybe we might want to step it up a bit, and then the next day you come in like, oh no, so we playing games
Which is
now.
not normal that we had at that time.
At all.
No,
So it was different.
It was good.
So yeah, I can safely say that most of my teachers, they loved me for the most part. Probably about 30% of the time they wanted to completely strangle me. It's okay. You guys can say that on television. We're not on board property. I'm still mad we didn't get to play Family Feud. I know it wasn't Ballhead, but I could have played a nice 1995 Steve Harvey. We could have just went with it. I don't know what.
we definitely could have.
I mean, we could have went with it. Now, what I was going to be late to the next class, yes, but it would be worth it. I didn't know who I had next at the time, but they weren't important. Family Feud.
Absolutely. I mean, I think out of most students, personality-wise, it was probably the most fun at that point, just to take jabs at each other. Now, with us doing that, if you want to say with the amount of jabs we threw at each other, you would have thought this was an old 1960s Muhammad Ali fight with his
Oh boy, we were brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
But it was definitely fun, and it's still quite strange to just be like, hey, I'm in here now and you're doing your thing, and I'm very proud of you for what you've been able to do.
Don't make me cry. Don't make me cry. It does mean a lot. That's basically all I've ever wanted to do, was make you guys proud, because you've invested so much into me. Of course, your other colleagues have too, but honestly, you guys saw something in me, so I decided to do something with it, because a life of crime is not for me. I'm too pretty for jail. I really am. I have a nice smile. But I like my freedom. I like to walk around. I don't do cement floors like that. I guess I can say you guys did a good job. I turned out all right.
I appreciate that. We try.
Yeah,
days where we feel like we...
Look, all I'm going to say is y'all couldn't save everybody.
No.
But you were not going to have me become another statistic, so.
No.
I think I think you guys did all right.
I appreciate that.
It was probably the greatest 4 years of my life, and there's times where I miss it. I do. If I could separate the politics of what we dealt with back when I was there, and we could just do our thing, we'd be set.
Absolutely.
You can't have that kind of freedom in schools anymore. Kids are different nowadays.
Yeah.
You do not find kids with you tell them to get back to work, they're gonna cry. They're gonna post like 16 indirects on Snapchat that doesn't directly say what the problem is. Only my friends know. Don't Snapchat me or whatever.
If I had $1 every time I've tried to catch students either Snapchatting me and trying to send it out to everybody of like a filter on my face, or trying to edit what I've done in class, I could probably pay off my student loans, and I'm in a lot of debt. So
you know what? We was just getting ready to go there. Have you considered third-party logistics? Because we're hiring.
I don't
Don't
think...
do it, buddy. Look, I have
No.
grays. I'm angry now. Don't do it. Oh, while we're here, let's talk about that coffee maker, because we're here to set the record straight.
Oh,
It was Vincent. Now that we're out of school and Vince is doing his own thing, I'm very proud of him, by the way. It was Cass's. I just got thrown under the bus for obvious reasons.
And I knew you would be at least
yeah.
respectful enough. So
I'll air everybody out after we get out of high school. I wanted my diploma, and then I'll throw everybody under the bus.
oh yeah, and real quick behind story of that. These guys with the class, and I'm pretty sure it was psychology that I had you in.
Yes.
And as much as we had of a variety of students, most of the time it was joke time. Let's turn Broughton's hair gray because of how much it was just constant back and forth everybody was trying to do. It was literally herding cats. But senior prank day came around, and I was like, I know it's going to happen. It's not going to go over well, because I knew at that point, like, I got along with the senior class because I got it twice that year.
We loved you.
Yeah, I got it twice that year. And so after having the one day of everybody piling all my desks up, spray painting stuff like on my desk, putting glitter everywhere, and as soon as I mentioned glitter, you decided with your group of friends, oh hey, let's recreate this. So I get in class, and you already know that I have to have my coffee or
Yeah, we're the same.
it's
man.
not gonna go well. So I go to make coffee, and I open up the part where we're gonna put grounds in, make it real quick, and you and your friends,
Hey, hold on, player. Don't you thought that was them? I just so happened to be there.
yeah, guilty by association, let's put it that
Wow.
way. I'm not playing that game. No, but I go to make coffee, and I see glitter just stacked all the way up inside where the grounds would be, and I'm like, I can't make coffee. And it didn't go over well, and he and his friends are over here just doing his little giggle, and I'm like, gee, I wonder who did that, Dion. And
Never. Perish the thought.
I had glitter nonstop, and because of that, I guess you could say the reciprocation of it happening every year from then on out was glitter pranks nonstop for 3 years, and
so
I'm
sorry.
over it. I am over glitter. If I never see glitter again, I'm good with that.
Okay, so the glitter thing, I don't like glitter because it makes a mess, and it got in my afro. Don't even know how that happened. I had to wash my hair with cream and nature like 5 times. I was mad. Don't even know.
At least you didn't ingest it.
Well, I mean, nobody wants a brilliant surprise coming out the other end.
No. And famous comedian that I think was always really funny, that always, like, his stand-up was great. And I think you and I talked stand-up quite a bit because it was just our thing we could relate to. But he made a statement about glitter that I think still holds high today. He said, glitter is the herpes of the art world. Because as soon as it hits by sun, flare up.
Oh! Yeah! Yeah,
Definitely wrap it up with that story.
wait, go. No.
I'm crying. That is how you end it.
Well, Father B, on behalf of all of us, we love you dearly. We
I
all
appreciate
miss you.
that. Love you too.
If I could go back in time and do it all again, I would. I honestly would. All the way back from freshman year before I got the mustache and the beard. Oh, there's so much I would do over. But honestly, those are memories that will last me a lifetime and hopefully last you a lifetime, because you'll never get another bunch of kids like the class of 17. There was a little bit of everything.
I would agree with that.
We was touched by, some of us was touched by God. Some of us was brilliant. And then there was the hard-headed me that was right there walking that thin line. Right there. Very thin. Thinner than my patience back in the day. But I thank you so much for having you here.
appreciate
It's
it.
been a pleasure. Hopefully I can have you back again.
Oh, I look forward to it, yeah.
You're a hero amongst other things, and most of your colleagues, they're heroes in their own right. You're probably the most hardest working people I've ever met. There's so much that went behind just educating my knuckleheaded self that I could barely wrap my head around. There's so much behind the scenes I didn't know. Am I still hard-headed? Yes. I'm just older. I can legally consume alcohol now, so that's new.
Heaven help us.
Yeah, no, I'm not that bad. Not
With your walking in between, I feel like you're a combo between Steve Urkel and Dennis the Menace, and that's perfect. It just depends on which side you want to go during each day. That's an accurate depiction.
Dennis the What the hell? I don't even know where to go with that. I've been one-upped by you for the first time.
Just
in
don't
many
ask
years.
me if I have any cheese, and then you're good.
Yeah, we're going to leave that alone. But, we love you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Appreciate it.
To many more years of gifting children with your presence and your gift as much as you've done for my class. I wish you nothing but the best, and hopefully things get back to normal to where you can get back in the classroom.
I hope so too.
And I will maybe make a visit. I don't know how these kids are nowadays. Their birth years start with a 2. I don't associate with that. It's ghetto. But you were fantastic. I love you. Hope to have you back real soon. Hopefully I'm that student like, you know what? He did all right. When we look back on this 10 years from now when I'm on a big network and you'll be front row like, ha, I had him. Please don't embarrass me.
Just get me tickets. That's all I care about.
You've done that enough. I'll sign whatever you want, I promise. When we come back, we'll have the lovely Karen Forrest. She'll air me out, of course, and I'll finally get the answers on why I was moved to the front of the class junior year. So you stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. Water. We're back. My next guest, unfortunately, this woman has had me twice in my high school career, at the beginning and almost at the end. I probably can't count how many grades I've caused this lady, and she's probably going to air me out just as bad, but I love her dearly. She's considered mom amongst my peers and myself. So please put your hands together for Karen Forrest. Well, come on out. And I'm doing well. Don't have a criminal record yet, so we're doing just fine. Only a speeding ticket, but we'll get into that later. So, how have things been for you?
Well, it's certainly a different world. Working with trying to move everything that I've done for 30 years to an online platform, and communicating with students through a computer as opposed to face-to-face is a whole new set of challenges.
Can you picture lecturing me through a laptop? Aren't you glad I graduated when I did? It was easier to be you back then.
There was, there was no way to move you anywhere, so
nowhere.
you just would have been one of those little bubbles on the Google Meet. And
yeah, problem child. So you've been in the education business for a little over 3 decades now. How do you feel? How far have you come from where you've started? What's your story? What brought you to this point to where I've grayed your hair? So sorry. What got you here?
Well, I'm a Northridge product myself. Graduated from Northridge High School in 1985.
You never told us that before.
I did mention that once or twice.
So I wasn't listening. All right, cool. Now that we got that out the way, that's the first jab right there.
And I found myself graduating from also Wright State as well as Mr. Broughton, and looked for an opportunity to teach, and the door actually opened for me to be able to come back home and start teaching at Northridge. I spent quite a few years teaching middle school at Esther Dennis, and then moved to Northridge High School, and that would have been 1998.
I was one.
Yeah. I've been reminded a few times today that I'm the veteran here, and I absolutely love what I do. I love the connection with kids. I love being able to combine guiding students with their reading and writing skills, with just learning how to navigate life. And so, as I am starting year 31 and doing it a little bit differently, I'm still passionate about what I do, and look forward to having students that challenge me in different ways. You talk about being the problem child, but when you challenge your teachers, you make us better. You create an opportunity for us to stretch and grow and find new ways to engage kids who are maybe on a different plane.
Yeah, I messed up and I topped out on HR very early in my high school career. And there was no more reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid. There was no more of that. She was having none of the Harry Potter books, like, young man, you're reading a novel, and that's the end of it. So what was your journey like when I came into the picture? Because I asked Father B the same thing, and he gave a great answer. so sorry, man. But it's different from you because you had me at 2 different stages of my life, and I've changed quite a bit over that 3-year span where you had me at the beginning and then towards the end where, you got a completely different child. So what's your story with me?
Well, your class was particularly special to me. I have a son who is your age, graduated the same year that you did, although I did not bring him to Northridge. So I always felt like I had a close connection with your group, that I was guiding you through the same steps as I was guiding my own son. But for you and I, we started out getting to know each other not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. You joined student council.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, and it was getting to know the Dion who would be mostly compliant, doing his thing in the classroom, showing off when you felt like it, and showing me what you were capable of. And then there was the kid who didn't have to have any guidelines or expectations, that could kind of just cut loose on things like, I don't know, building a class float for homecoming.
I don't even remember how to do that. You just said here, and I just went. That's the kind of guy I've always been. You just go.
Well,
whatever happens, happens.
The problem was I said here and handed you a staple gun.
You shouldn't have done that.
Big mistake.
Yeah, freshman me with a staple gun. You shouldn't have done that. Come on, Mom.
So, but it all turned out well. We had a story that you running with a staple gun and, being armed and dangerous. And
yeah, I was armed and dangerous.
But it became a running joke for many years, and fortunately, because you turned out okay, we can laugh about it now.
Yes, so yeah, we can laugh about it now. Again, I'm too handsome for jail. I'm not having it. I'm skinny, I'm 6'3", not happening. So can we get the backstory on why I was moved to the front? I was a good noodle. It was them.
Well, it was them might well be true. But you had the problem of showing me what you were capable of.
Yeah, I kind of shot myself in the foot. When you came back from vacation, we started school, and you had me in honors English, and I did the thing. And from what you said I wowed you. I don't know how I did that, but I just did my thing. And I turned it in, and that's when you, unlike most teachers that's been in the business for a long time, I think I might be onto something here. So from then on out, you weren't taking B- work. You weren't taking that. You were expecting my best 100% of the time, and I was not having it. You didn't care because you got my best either way. It was going to happen, unfortunately.
So.
Many parent-teacher conferences later. But it was definitely an adventure having you freshman year because, most of my siblings, my oldest sister, Janae Williams, she went to Northridge High, so you may have had her, I don't know. But she knew who you were, and I described you to her my freshman year, and I've had so many people who went to Northridge at the time who's had you before. So I'm like, oh, this is the English teacher. Those are the hardest ones to get along with. Well, I guess we're just going to have to see how it goes. It's either it happens or it doesn't, or it's going to be a very long 185 days. Safe to say we hit it off immediately. Only on the days when we were doing silent sustained reading and I was on my phone. Sorry.
There was a little bit of subversive activity that went on when I tried to encourage you guys to read.
I was the one that wouldn't argue.
Yeah. So
I didn't argue.
It's difficult to push people to read when they're not interested in it. And it might not necessarily be that you didn't want to read that book at that time.
That was the points thing. That's what got a lot of us.
The points were designed as an incentive, but it became a way to game the system.
Yeah, in a way.
I would never throw any of you under the bus, but people who started to discover you could look up answers to AR quizzes.
And
you
weren't
could
born
then
yesterday.
you could then share those answers with other people who hadn't read the books. It's why I've walked away from the point system, because I wanted to just encourage a love of reading rather than criminal activity and learning how to game the system.
All right, yeah, now that we're out of high school, I can go ahead and share this. There was a lot of criminal activity. I didn't indulge in it because, again, the spotlight was always on me once I was in the front. You really can't do anything in the front of the room. So I was just chilling with everybody, 23 other kids at my back, and I'm right there. And before I got moved to the front, we bonded so well over that first couple of months that you knew it was exactly me who was talking without even have to turn around, because you'd be writing something on the board, and then I'm in mid-conversation. I'm trying to be as quiet as I can. Mr. McElrath, oh, Jesus. My bad, I'm sorry. Do I need to move you? Not at all, we are cool. You know what? How about you come up here and sit next to me? Oh, hell. So, I do the little schlepp myself up to the front of the room, and I got the seat right next to you for the remainder of the year. It didn't turn out that bad. I was right next to the air conditioner, so it wasn't too bad.
It led to a lot of productive conversations.
Yes, it did. It led to very good conversations. You laughed at all my jokes, so I must be funny. I've never had a teacher in tears like I have you, so that's a very huge pinnacle of my career. It's been a roller coaster when I had you freshman year, and then, they moved you back to 7th grade, and I prayed for you every day.
That was a challenge.
Yeah, I bet. So when you came back junior year, I'm like, oh, cool, we're getting 4 again. It's great. When I see your name on the schedule, I'm like, all right, I'm thinking things are sweet. We're just going to be cruising through junior year. No, not at all. First day of school, Mr. McElrath, I need you up here. I didn't even do anything yet. It is the 3rd day of school, but all right. So I'm sitting in the front. I think the days where I've gotten ripped in classes the most is the days I've given you probably the best work I've ever written. And I'm not a really writer type of person. I might be, and I just don't realize it yet. But when it comes to you guys, specifically at that district, and everyone knew, because you guys talk. I know I've coming up in teachers' conversations. I know it. I'm a handful. I'm not dumb. I know I came up. So by the time, you had me freshman year, sophomore year teachers already knew what was up. And by the time you came back, you made it very clear we're not having the same nonsense we had freshman year, which wasn't a lot, but there was enough. I had my moments. But by the time I got Mendoza at the end of junior year going into senior year, she already knew what was up. That woman never accepted anything less than my best. I blame you.
I'll take responsibility for that.
I know you did it. But having you twice, it's really opened my eyes to we have a very special bond, and I have a bond with all the teachers I've had, but that doesn't compare to the bond I have with you. It's different, because I was fairly new in the whole freshman game. You came back to freshman when, you had me, so it was a completely new ball game for the both of us. I've been yelled at. You've yelled at me plenty of times. It's okay. It was for my development, and that's what my employer calls it. We had our moments where you've lectured me for a solid 15 minutes straight. I've never had my ears burned that bad. I've been aired out. You've aired me out to my mother, and then you both aired me out, and then I got lectured. So it paid off. It paid off. I'm doing a thing now. I'm sitting at this desk in this little shabby set. It's rather shabby, but it's okay for a start. I'm not on a billboard anywhere. Have you seen me or anything like that? I'm going on year number 3 at where I am now. These people trust me with 80,000-pound trucks. Weirdos. I stress my management out on the daily. They love me. I'm a dad now. That's a whole new world for me. Thankfully, you probably won't be in the business by the time she gets to high school, so you're very lucky. Nova's like me. I'm more than you now.
It's we have quite a few of your classmates that actually have children, and some of them I've had the opportunity to see pictures on Facebook. Others, I sat at basketball games holding DeWalt's son. So it's interesting for me to see
your babies'
you.
babies.
You guys are transitioning into adulthood and real life responsibilities, and realizing that what we were asking of you wasn't really all that bad.
No, you was just asking for 25 cents. Yo, life is asking me for $1.25. I've had it. It is pure pandemonium out here. There's bills and there's rent. I don't even get a sticker, a good job today, none of that. They just want it again in 30 days. Who does that? The nerve, the absolute nerve. I have to pay for gas now, which is $2.14. I've had it with that. I'm about to start just unicycling to work, honestly. It's a challenge. In this new chapter of my life, I'm a little bit more, I would say, uncensored in a way. So it's the same me. I'm just a little bit older, just a bit. I'll be 23 in a couple of months, so it's a different challenge not being in high school anymore because I went to my employer where I'm at now straight out of high school. So it's a whole different world. Believe it or not, I'm the most mature person in that building. Kind of sad, but it is what it is. I'm very professional. I can thank you and your team for that, for the most part. I do yell at my supervisor, but he yells at me. It's great. It's a very toxic relationship, but we love each other. I do great work. Sometimes I end up in company emails for good things, and recently I was in one for speeding in the yard when you were supposed to do 15 and I was doing 30, but they can mind their business, stay upstairs. But before we wrap this up, I just want to say there's not enough money in the entire world to compensate for the amount of times you have yelled at me because I was just simply not having it. You were not in the mood. Whenever my name would come up in an email after we had a sub, even though I wasn't directly involved, I just so happened to make it in that email and you knew me. The terrible papers I've given you and I wanted you to give me a high mark and I got lectured on that. Sweetie, you really want me to give you a B- on this? At the most, this is probably a D. I need you to go back and try that again. That is probably the most humbling line you have ever given me in my life. And I thought about that for about a week on what I want to do with my life. I want to drop out and hop on a next freight train to Georgia and start a new life as a peanut farmer. But thank you for everything.
Well, you know, you are very welcome. I feel like I've been depicted as this horrible, harsh overlord that, you know, somehow squashed you into being the person you are today.
No, you were a very loving mother to me. You were a very loving mother to me as you were my teacher twice, and plus you were paid to do it. But you were very loving to me, but at the same time, you would continually push me because you know if I got comfortable, you would not get the best out of me and I would slide off the curb. And I don't know what you saw, but you obviously saw something in me, so you kept your like that, and I turned out all right. I'm no NASA astrophysicist, but I turned out all right.
No, you know, you are fulfilling your dream, and as you have the opportunity to chase after the goals that you've had and the vision that you see for yourself, you know, number one, we are very proud of what you've accomplished, but we also get that satisfaction of knowing that you have seen the teachers along the way who have shaped you and disciplined you out of love.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Deb Neal is a friend of mine, and I know what kind of teacher,
Oh, she's brilliant.
you know, what kind of teacher she always was.
I cried the day she retired. That is the day we graduated. I took her flowers. I wrote her a card.
Yeah.
I cried. And I don't do that often. When I tell you that woman is like a saint,
Oh, yeah.
and she's done it for so long, and the fact, I was reading like 3rd and 4th grade material at 1st grade, so you're not the first teacher that gotten this. Like, I wowed her, and she was not having it either. But Miss Neal, she was very loving, but at the same time, when it came down to business, you were going to do exactly what she told you to do. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, she's going to get what she wants.
Yeah. And she had the gift of being able to do that with younger kids.
And she really did. Like, honestly, Northridge local schools will never see a teacher like her again. Northridge will never see a teacher like either one of you again.
Wow.
And I will bet my paycheck, which is probably half gone thanks to life, my next one, I'm willing to bet everything I have that Northridge, once you guys retire and the newer generation of teachers come in, we'll never see that again.
Well, we have a tremendous opportunity at Northridge, and like I said, I've spent my life there. I followed in the footsteps of another Northridge graduate who became a Northridge teacher, Carolyn Nicolai, who, you know, she was my role model, she was my mentor, and we're still very good friends. She's in her 80s and has moved out of state, but we stay in touch. So I think while I appreciate the praise, I think you're going to find that another generation of teachers will rise up to meet the challenge and will be there for your daughter and the likes of the next generation. I think you will see another group of polar bears that will take on the challenge and succeed.
I pray for whoever gets my daughter. It's kind of an interesting time for you and Father B because now you get to watch me age in the 20s now, so this is a whole new me. If I could describe it, if you ever watched a Quentin Tarantino film, like Once Upon a Time.
Seen a few?
Yeah, like Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Picture that with the scorpion, like walking across the road and it's hot. It's like that, you know. I'm growing every day. I'm not perfect by any means. I have my flaws. By no means, I am not perfect at all. But at the same time, you and Father B and countless other educators I've had over the years helped me realize just how amazing I was, not only as a student, but as an individual.
Good. Well, I'm glad you were able to see that because we knew it was there.
And now that I see that, I can't stand myself. I can't stand me half the time. I make myself mad with the things I do. I'm like, see, this is why my teachers yelled at me. But I'm so happy that you got to come in and we got to have you here. I love you dearly. Hopefully, I hope everything gets back to normal.
Thank you. I love you too, and I'm happy to be here for you. Look forward to seeing all that you're going to achieve with this and beyond.
Well, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. I'll probably go get some scratch-offs if I get anywhere. Get a small loan of $1 million or something. Buy a hotel. When we come back, we'll have JAMR jamming out and all that good stuff. So you guys stay put. Go let the dog out. We'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Without further ado, I have the greatest jazz band in all of the Gem City. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you JAMR the Band. Guys.
because we want our music to age really well. Go ahead and hit it. Oh, wait, it's me.
Is my mic back on? I don't think he turned it back on.
It is now.
All right, good stuff. You want to just go ahead and go now? No? Give me an answer. Tell me something. I'm a lost child in a Walmart. I need direction. I'm just going to go. Guys, you sounded fantastic, by the way. I want to thank my guests, Father B. Broughton and Karen Forer, fantastic people, senior kids to Northridge, probably the best school district in Montgomery County. That's really all I got. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Keep it funky, stay out of trouble, say no to drugs. We love you. Good night, everybody. All right. How do we do? All right. I did the thing.